Well, first of all, the attitude of labor union toward jobs and trade, I think, should be reconsidered in an appropriate manner, because, for example, that openness actually that openness has made all of the countries in Asia to prosper, and that openness was the main momentum of the prosperity in the United States too. The question is, what kind of perceptions we may have. That's very important. If we pursue and if we perceive trade as a kind of trade taking away jobs, you may fall into the pitfall ideologically against trade, which is not a very good idea to pursue. The Fed chairman said that in terms of the increasing inequality in the United States, do you think trade is one factor of that? Chairman Bernanke said, no. What makes people unequal is not trade, but technology, education, vocational training that should be put into the American citizens. That's why investments in vocational training and education and how they can absorb the technology will be very important. I was an ambassador to OECD, and we had a regular dialogue with the labor unions. And the discussions there between labor and the ambassadors at OECD was that if we completely get away from the unresistible phenomenon of globalization and market opening, no country, no workers can survive. So what the labor union at our discussions asked us is that why should government make more effective and better programs for educating us, for training us, for equipping us with relevant technology so that we can move into higher paying jobs and better jobs. On this Korea-US free trade agreements, the arguments may not be exactly the same as we are having on normal trade agreements. Here, United States has very little to offer in these free trade agreements. You are already open country. Korea, still we have a very high level of protection, especially in agriculture. For example, our tariff on meat is 40%, which is huge. If this 40% is gone with our free trade agreement, United States farmers can export much more meat into Korea. So for Korea, on these agreements, that means we will eliminate all these higher tariffs and the barriers that make U.S. exporters, set in a disadvantageous position. So it's not same, and it's a little bit difficult from any trade agreements which asks United States to make a lot of concessions. I mean, lowering tariffs, eliminating quotas, and so on. So I definitely say that this is good for U.S. businesses. But what does Korea get from these agreements? It's an effect in the medium and long term. It's like IMF prescription of our economic measures during our financial crisis. Although they are bitter in the short term, in the medium and long term, it will modernize our system, economic institutions, which is modernized and sophisticated, and which will benefit our consumers, consumers who are consuming agricultural products now at a much lower prices for the foods and agricultural products with higher quality. So it's clear that Korea-U.S. Free Trade Agreement is good for U.S. businesses, is good for Korean economic developments in the medium and long term, not in the short term. That's what you would like to get. These agreements, we think, I don't know whether you have seen it. You can see it on Commerce Department's website or USTR website. It's over 1,000 pages. That 1,000 pages is accepted by Korea as a kind of a binding legal reform package for Korean economy.
Mr. Ambassador, does it concern the people of South Korea that neither the Obama administration nor the UN seem to be taking the latest aggression from North Korea on the South Korean destroyer as a top priority?
Definitely. It's a top priority of the U.S. government. And as an ambassador, I, on a real-time basis, coordinates and cooperates on every issues on what we can do it. Even bilateral decisions we can make, we are coordinating so that we can have bilateral, multilateral, and regional policies together. So it's on the top of the agenda, and U.S. presidents and U.S. governments are very strongly playing their roles in bringing out the suitable solutions to these preposterous incidents. And now the G20 meeting will be held during this weekend, and President Obama will have summit meetings with various head of states, and he will play an important role in persuading them. And also, Korea is playing its role in a very close cooperation with the United States.
Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we have been listening to the Honorable Han Duk-Soo. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This forum is now adjourned.